Be me, 34F, work in digital marketing at some mid-sized tech startup. You could say I'm professionally aware of social issues. Friends joke, I'm basically a living think piece. I take it as praise, married to Mike, 35. M met sophomore year of college, been married about 6 years. Now he's a software developer, classic STEM dude, energy super kind, dependable, predictable by every normal metric. Imaginable, I basically hit the jackpot, husband-wise, and somehow that's exactly the problem, because it's also traditional. Lately I've felt boxed in, not really by Mike as a person, more by marriage itself. The whole institution feels like this old patriarchal system, meant to formalize ownership of women during the day. I'm constantly breaking down systems of power and oppression. Then every night I come home to the most conventional structure possible. The nuclear marriage makes me feel like a walking contradiction. So I start consuming content. A lot of content articles, podcasts, long Twitter threads, relationship theorists, poly-influencers, people preaching relationship anarchy. The algorithm definitely figured me out. My entire feed turns into pastel infographics about ethical non-monogamy, plus smiling triads drinking wine in Spain, everyone talking about intentional love structures. It all looks so honest, so evolved. My best friend is Lisa, also 34F. We've been tight since freshman dorm days. She teaches high school literature, absolute sweetheart, but also very old school romantic, still believes in the idea of the one. I've tried gently nudging her worldview for years, peeling back the Disney fairy tale programming layer by layer. She always just smiles and shrugs, says, I just want the kind of marriage my parents have. Adorable, honestly. The spark that starts everything shows up at work. New hire named Caleb Sr., graphic designer, shows up with a sleeve tattoo that looks like some Toni Morrison. Quote, "Where's those knitted eco-brand beanies?" Year-round casually mentions a spiritual retreat he did in Costa Rica. Basically a walking stereotype of my exact aesthetic preference. We immediately click like intense intellectual chemistry. We start joking around in Slack threads, dropping references to Derrida and bell hooks. It's all very heady and weirdly very hot. There's this low-level tension humming under every conversation, a kind of spark I haven't felt in forever. Meanwhile, Mike's version of intellectual bonding is us doing the LA Times crossword together Sunday mornings, which is sweet but not exactly soul-igniting. One night, I'm lying in bed scrolling, Instagram, doom scrolling as usual. An influencer I follow posts a beach photo. It's her husband, and her girlfriend, all holding hands. Sunset behind them, caption is a massive paragraph about freeing love from colonial structures. Something about emotional sovereignty. It hits me like a truck. This is the solution. I don't want to leave. Mike, I do love him in my own way. He's family, he's home base, but I also want to explore whatever this thing is with Caleb. I want both, and honestly, why shouldn't I? Isn't refusing to choose the most empowered option possible? So, I decide to talk to Mike. I spend 2 full days preparing what I'm going to say, seriously preparing, collecting points, examples. Arguments like, I'm about to defend a graduate thesis, main ideas. 1. Monogamy is a social construct. 2. Our relationship is strong enough to grow past it. 3. Radical honesty will actually make us closer. I rehearse everything in my head. I'm ready. Tuesday night rolls around. Mike just finished cleaning the kitchen after cooking dinner. He's on the couch playing his Nintendo Switch, some old retro game, probably Mario or something. He loves old classics. The apartment feels calm, domestic, peaceful. A small part of me wonders if I should just leave things alone, just enjoy this life. But the louder voice in my head, the one that read feminist theory in college and felt awakened, says, no, you're meant for more than this. Hey, can we talk for a minute? He pauses. The game immediately turns fully toward me. That's Mike, always attentive. Sure, what's going on? I launch into the speech, start talking about social expectations, limitations of the nuclear family structure, how relationships can evolve over time. I drop words like paradigm and heteronormative frameworks. I can see him trying really hard to keep up. He's nodding politely, but his eyes are getting wider. He looks like someone watching a magic trick and trying to figure out the trick. Eventually, I reach the actual point. I think we should consider opening the marriage. dead silence. The only sound is faint game music still coming from the paused console. He just stares at me. You mean seeing other people? His voice is quiet, almost small. Yes, but ethically, with communication, boundaries. We'd set rules and check-ins. I explain it like a seminar, not random chaos and intentional evolution. Mike, this could be really healthy for us. I sound confident, almost teacher-like I'm presenting wisdom. He hesitates. Is there someone already? Direct hit right to the center. It's not about a specific person, I say, which is technically kind of a lie. It's more about the principle. I pivot fast, frame it as personal growth, classic rhetorical move. I'm good at those. He stays quiet for a long time, then stands up, walks over to the window, looks out at the dark street. I don't want to lose you, Emily. His voice cracks a little when he says my name. My stomach twists for a second. Guilt hits, but I push it down. This is for our future. He just doesn't see that. Yet, you won't lose me, I say. Step behind him, wrap my arms around his waist. This will actually make us stronger. Trust me. He doesn't respond right away. Just stands there after another long moment. He sighs a deep, heavy sigh, like it comes from the floor itself. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Yeah. If this is what you need to be happy, then okay. I'm honestly stunned. I expected arguments, maybe crying weeks of discussion. Instead, he just folds immediately. Part of me feels relieved. It went that smoothly. Another part, weirdly disappointed. There wasn't more resistance, and this tiny, ugly voice in the back of my mind whispers, wow. He folded fast. I shoved that thought away immediately. This is progress. We spend the next hour talking logistics. Mostly me explaining things, him quietly agreeing rules have to exist. Obviously always use protection. That one's basic, no. Bringing dates back to our apartment. This space stays ours. We have to inform the other person before a first date happens. No secrets, no emotional entanglements. I push especially hard on that rule mainly for his sake. I know I can separate feelings from physical stuff, not totally convinced he can. We also agree on veto power. If one of us feels uncomfortable about a specific person, the other has to respect it. He nods along to everything, barely pushes back. He looks kinda hollow by the end, but he still agrees. When we finally go to bed, he rolls onto his side, facing the wall. Doesn't reach back for me. First time in years. We haven't fallen asleep spooning. I stare at the ceiling for a while. Tell myself, this is the price of growth. Freedom always comes with discomfort next morning. I wake up buzzing with energy, like I'm stepping into some bold new chapter. Meet Lisa for lunch. Tell her everything I'm expecting. Shock, maybe even a lecture. Instead, she just listens quietly. Face hard to read, wow, Emily, that's a big change. It's the right change, I say quickly, for my autonomy, for personal growth. She nods slowly. And Mike, how's he handling it? He's been incredible, I say, really supportive. I spin it like he's some enlightened ally. He understands my happiness matters. Lisa stirs her iced tea slowly. But is he happy? The question just sits there. I answer way too fast. His happiness is connected to mine. He'll adjust once he unlearns all the monogamy conditioning. She nods, but doesn't look convinced, then casually changes the topic, which annoys me more than if she had argued. Why can't she just celebrate this? Why can't she see how brave this decision is? Later that afternoon at work, I run into Caleb in the break room while grabbing coffee. Heart starts pounding immediately, time to test the waters. So, my partner and I recently shifted to a non-monogamous relationship setup, I say casually. His eyes light up instantly. Nice, he says, radical transparency. Love that energy. Perfect. I was wondering if you'd want to explore whatever this connection is. Outside work. He smiles slowly, very confident smile. Honestly, I was hoping you'd say that. We set up a date for Friday night, Thursday evening, I tell Mike. Just so you know, I've got a date tomorrow. He's at his laptop on the couch, barely looks up. Oh, okay. Pause. With who? Caleb, from the design team. All right. Have fun. That's it. No follow-ups, no visible emotion, no jealousy, almost unsettling how neutral he is. This is literally what I asked for. Honest, drama, but some small, selfish part of me expected at least a little reaction. Maybe him fighting for me a bit. I catch myself thinking that and immediately scold my own brain. That's toxic conditioning. Friday arrives, I spend almost 2 hours getting ready. New dress Mike's never seen before. Hair done, makeup. Perfect. I feel like I'm 19 again, sneaking out for a first date. It's exciting. I go to say goodbye before leaving Mike's on the couch again. Same spot as usual. I lean in for a kiss. He sort of recoils slightly, then turns his cheek instead. The moment feels weirdly formal cold. Have a good time, he says. Eyes still on the TV. Strange, but whatever. This is the new dynamic I head out. Date with Caleb is fine. We go to one of those pretentious wine places, everything labeled organic or natural. The wine tastes like fermented dirt. He talks a lot, mostly about himself, his spiritual awakenings, his critique of capitalism delivered from a $1,000 phone, his ex, who apparently was too emotionally intense. That comment feels like a red flag. I ignore it. The chemistry that felt electric online now feels more like sitting through a guest lecture. Eventually we go back to his place, minimalist loft, one chair mattress on the floor, exactly what you'd expect. The hookup itself is fine, very performative, like he's trying really hard to prove how thoughtful he is. I leave around 1:30 in the morning, feeling oddly empty. Grab an Uber. Home apartment is dark when I get back. Mike's already asleep, on his side of the bed. Facing the edge, I slide under the covers. There's this huge empty space between us. Feels like a canyon. I thought I'd feel guilty instead. I mostly feel numb, just tired next few weeks. Settle into a routine. I see Caleb a couple more times. The spark fades fast. Turns out he's kinda boring. All his big ideas are just podcast talking points. Try a few dating apps, huge mistake, endless guys claiming they're ethically non-monogamous, but really just looking for consequences. Free cheating, others are awkward, emotionally stunted, or clearly chasing some weird fantasy. This whole scene isn't the glamorous liberation I pictured. It's mostly scheduling headaches and awkward drinks. Meanwhile, Mike feels like a ghost in our own home, always polite but distant. He stopped cooking dinner for us. We eat separately. Now he spends most evenings in his office or out somewhere. One Saturday I see him tying his running shoes. "Where are you headed?" I ask. "Gym," he says simply. He's been working out a lot lately. Dropped some weight, getting pretty fit. Actually looks better than he has in years. He also goes out with friends more, his old college buddies. Guys, I always thought were kinda boring. They grab beers, play tabletop games, whatever, nerd stuff they enjoy. He seems happier lately, but not with me. His happiness exists somewhere I'm not included, and it's starting to bother me. So, one night I finally try to talk to him about it. "Hey, we haven't really spent time together lately," I say. One evening he's standing in the kitchen pouring himself water. "I know I've been busy, but is everything okay? Is this about the open thing? Are you all right with all this?" He shrugs slightly. "I'm fine, Emily. This is what you wanted, right? We're just being honest and living our own lives." He throws my own philosophy right back at me, and somehow that annoys the hell out of me. He hasn't gone on a single date, not when I finally ask him about it one night. "Aren't you going to, meet anyone?" He shakes his head. "Not really interested right now. Just focusing on myself." A strange mix of relief and pity washes over me. Poor Mike, he clearly can't handle this lifestyle. He's not wired for it. He's probably just waiting for me to get bored and come back. The thought comforts me, but also feels a little insulting. Somehow, a few days later, I bring it up with Lisa. We're at our regular brunch place, the one with overpriced pancakes. "I don't understand him," I say. "I gave him freedom, and he's not even using it. He's just shut down." Lisa slowly sets her fork down, looks straight at me. "Emily, did you ever consider maybe it wasn't a gift?" "What do you mean?" "Of course it was. A gift means the other person wanted it." She tilts her head. "Did Mike ever say he wanted an open marriage?" I open my mouth to argue. Nothing comes out. "He's not you," she continues quietly. "He might not see the world the same way. Maybe he was perfectly happy before." Her words land like little punches. "He said he was fine with it," I mutter defensively. She raises an eyebrow. "Did he actually say that? Or did you just explain why he should be?" I don't have an answer. The silence is awful. I feel this sudden flash of anger toward her. Why isn't she on my side? You're only saying that because you're hopelessly traditional, I snap. You just don't get it. She looks genuinely hurt, then sighs. Maybe, she says quietly, or maybe I just know Mike. The rest of brunch feels awkward. I leave with a sour feeling in my stomach. Over the next couple weeks, a weird anxiety creeps in. The excitement of my new freedom is completely gone. All I notice now is the growing distance between me and my husband. The fun phase is definitely over. Just want things to feel normal again. A few months pass, leaves start turning outside. One night, Mike comes home late from work. He's been doing that more lately, but tonight he looks different, lighter, somehow. Almost glowing. You seem happy, I say carefully. He smiles a real smile, not forced. It's actually kinda beautiful. I am, he says, had a really good night. Oh yeah? What'd you do? Grab dinner with a friend. Anyone I know? He hesitates briefly. Actually, yeah. It was Lisa. My brain freezes. Lisa? My Lisa? You had dinner with Lisa? Yeah. Why? She had a rough week at school, he says casually. Needed someone to talk to. We grabbed food. It sounds harmless, but my stomach tightens. Since when do you two hang out alone? He shrugs. I don't know. We've just been talking more lately. She's really easy to talk to. I almost blurt out, so am I talk to me, but I swallow. It just nods stiffly. That's nice. Inside my head, alarms are going off. Something feels off. The following week, it happens again. Going out with Lisa tonight? I ask sharply. He doesn't even notice the tone. Yeah, he says, we're catching a movie. This is starting to feel strange. The next day I call Lisa, try to sound casual. So, you and Mike have been hanging out a lot lately. She laughs softly. Yeah, actually. It's been really nice. He's surprisingly funny. Funny Mike, the guy whose biggest jokes are dad, puns. He's just been a really good friend lately, she adds. Gives great advice. My stomach drops. Advice about what? A cold dread spreads through me. They're talking about me. The jealousy that's been simmering for weeks suddenly explodes into a siren. This wasn't part of the plan. The rules were about dating strangers, not secretly bonding with my best friend. I try to calm myself down. They're just friends. I'm overreacting. After all, I'm the one who wanted all this. But the feeling won't go away, like something important has slipped out of my control. One Saturday, I'm supposed to meet some architect from Hinge instead. I cancel. I can't do this anymore. I don't even want to. I just want my husband back that night. I wait for Mike to get home. I'm ending this. The experiment is over. We'll fix things. He walks in around 9, still carrying that same warm, happy glow. It almost makes me angry. Mike, we need to talk. My voice shakes. He recognizes the tone, immediately sits down across from me in the armchair. Okay. I take a breath. I'm done. This whole open marriage thing, it was a mistake. I want it to stop. I look at him expecting relief, expecting him to come hug me. Instead, he just studies my face calmly, too calmly. Okay, he says quietly. Okay. I repeat, yes. I want things back to normal. Just us. He shakes his head slightly. Emily, we can't. It feels like the floor disappears under me. What do you mean we can't? I started this. I can end it. It's not an experiment anymore, he says softly. Not for me. What are you talking about? He takes a long breath. I've been seeing someone. I laugh a sharp, ugly laugh. Seeing someone? Mike, you go to the gym and hang out with your board game friends. Who exactly could you be seeing? I sound cruel, don't even care. He looks straight at me. I've been seeing Lisa. The name hangs in the room like poison gas. I just stare at him, waiting for the punchline. Some horrible joke. His face stays completely serious. Don't be ridiculous, I whisper. Lisa is my best friend. He nods slowly. I know. You and Lisa are what? Sleeping together? Another nod, simple, devastating. And the rule? I almost scream, my voice cracking. The rule was no falling in love. My own stupid rule thrown back at me. He looks down for a moment, then back at me. I know, he says quietly, and there's real sadness in his voice. I broke the rule, Emily. His voice is quiet, steady. I'm in love with her. For a second, everything goes blank, like someone pulled the plug on my brain. The room tilts sideways. My husband is in love with my best friend. No, I whisper. No, that's not possible. How could you do that? My voice shakes. How could she do that? He rubs his face tiredly. It wasn't planned. It just happened. He looks straight at me. You were gone a lot, Emily. You had your dates. Your other life. I was alone. She was alone too. We started talking. About everything. About me, of course about me. She listened, he says. His voice getting stronger now. Actually listened. She didn't analyze me. She didn't tell me my feelings were some social conditioning problem. She just saw that I was hurting. Every word feels like a knife, he continues. We got close. Really close. It wasn't malicious. But it's real. A white-hot rage floods my body, blinding, burning. I'm furious at him for being weak enough to fall for someone else. Furious at Lisa for the ultimate betrayal. But underneath it all, I'm furious at myself, because I built this whole disaster. I practically handed my husband to my best friend. Get out, I say quietly, my voice shaking. Emily, get out of my house! I start grabbing whatever is within reach, a couch cushion, a magazine, the stupid TV remote. I throw them at him one after another. He barely reacts, doesn't even raise his hands. He just stands there calmly, then sighs. My things are already packed. My stomach drops. What? I'm staying with a friend for now. He walks into the bedroom, comes back carrying 2 suitcases and a backpack. He planned this. He knew exactly how this conversation would go. He stops at the door, looks at me one last time. I'm sorry for how this happened, Emily. I really am. A pause, but I'm not sorry that it did. Then he leaves, the door clicks shut, and just like that, my life detonates. I stand there in the living room, surrounded by the junk I threw everywhere. Then my legs give out. I collapse onto the floor. Sobbing, the days after that are a blur. I call Lisa over and over, dozens of times. She never answers. Finally, a text shows up. I can't talk right now, Emily. I'm sorry for the pain, but this is real. Mike and I are together. I block her instantly, block him too. Everywhere, phone, Instagram, everything. I take a week off. Work, tell my boss I've got the flu. Spend 7 straight days in the apartment, which now feels huge and empty. I drink cheap wine, scroll through old messages. Mike's texts, good morning, beautiful. Don't forget dinner with your parents Saturday. I added it to the calendar. Thinking about you today. Lisa's texts, brunch this weekend. You will not believe what one of my students said today. Girl, he is not good enough for you. It feels like reading the obituary of my own life. Divorce papers show up about a month later. Quick clean, Mike doesn't contest anything. Doesn't want the apartment, doesn't want half my savings. He just wants the process finished, honestly. That's the most humiliating part. He doesn't even hate me enough to fight. I'm just a loose end. He needs tied up before starting his new life with her. I tried dating again, eventually opened the same apps, same recycle faces, same bios about hiking and seeking connection. One guy proudly tells me he's a relationship anarchist. I almost dumped my water on his head. I can't do it anymore. The whole scene feels like a sad joke. Now, all those theories, all those principles, they taste like ashes. 6 months later, I'm at the grocery store, standing in the frozen aisle, trying to decide which sad single-person ice cream to buy. And then I see them, Mike and Lisa. They're near the checkout lane, laughing at something on his phone, his arm wrapped around her waist, her head resting on his shoulder. They look disgustingly happy, like one of those couples from cheesy commercials. Lisa is glowing more beautiful than I've ever seen her. No blazer, no lectures about dismantling systems. Just a simple summer dress, looking at Mike like he's the only man alive. The exact Disney romance energy I used to tease her about. And on her left hand, a ring. A simple, elegant engagement ring sparkling under the grocery store lights. I instantly duck behind a stack of frozen pizzas. My heart hammering, I watch them from my hiding spot. They pay for their groceries, their hands brush while packing the bags. They look like the most normal, happy couple imaginable, the exact kind I used to judge silently. I thought I was smarter than that, more evolved. They were the basic ones trapped inside outdated traditions. And now, I'm hiding behind frozen food, spying on them, heart shattered. They leave the store. I stay hidden another 5 minutes just to be safe. Then I abandon my cart completely and walk out. I sit in my car staring at myself in the rearview mirror. I look exhausted, older somehow, and very alone. I pull out my phone against my better judgment, unblock Lisa on Instagram. Her newest post appears instantly a photo of her hand wearing the ring, Mike's hand holding it gently. Caption says, "The easiest yes of my life. I can't wait to spend forever with my best friend. I love you, Mike." Thousands of likes, hundreds of comments. You two are perfect together. So happy for you both. I scroll through them slowly, like someone watching their own funeral. I spent years trying to dismantle fairy tales. Didn't realize I was living inside one. I thought I was the main character in some revolutionary story. Turns out I was just the villain in theirs. It's been a little over a year now. They got married last month, and small ceremony apparently. I only know because photos circulated online. Lisa in a simple white dress, Mike in a blue suit, standing under a big oak tree holding hands, both smiling like they won the lottery. Meanwhile, I still have my apartment, my important career, my principles, my independence, everything I said I wanted. But every night I lie in a bed that's way too big for one person, in a silence that isn't peaceful anymore, just loud. I used to have a husband who loved me and a best friend who felt like family. I thought freedom meant having more options. Turns out sometimes freedom just means knowing when you already have enough. I traded my happiness for an idea, and now all I have left is the idea. Some nights I open my laptop and look at their wedding photos. The way he looks at her is exactly how he used to look at me. I wanted an open marriage and it blew up in my face. I made the move and I lost the game.